Hey everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to my TV shows review series. Today's TV show review is on the Hanna-Barbera classic animated series, The Flintstones. And this video was requested to me by Buttercup Anderson, and you can check out their channel in the description box below. Now on to the review. The Flintstones was an animated primetime TV series that premiered on ABC in 1960 and was created by Hanna-Barbera of Scooby-Doo fame. It was also loosely based off of the Honeymooners TV series, as Fred Flintstone shares the same mannerisms and speech patterns as Jackie Gleason's character in the show, Ralph Carmden. It was also the most financially successful animated franchise for 3 decades, up until The Simpsons made its debut in 1989. In 2013, TV Guide ranked The Flintstones the second greatest TV cartoon of all time, right behind The Simpsons. Over the years, the Flintstones managed to establish several films and spin-off series, which includes having a movie called The Man Called Flintstone, which was created in 1966 and was made after the TV series was canceled, and the Pebbles and Bam Bam show, which stars Pebbles and Bam Bam as teenagers, which was made in the 1970s. It also spawned 2 live-action films, which were The Flintstones in 1994 and the prequel movie The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas in 2000. Now, before I get into what I liked and hated about this TV series, I would like to give out a brief summary on this series. This show is basically about the life of Fred Flintstone, his wife Wilma Flintstone, and their baby daughter Pebbles, as they have crazy adventures in the modern Stone Age, along with their next-door neighbors Barney Rubble, his wife Betty Rubble, and their adopted son Bam Bam. Now, I have been watching the Flintstones ever since I was little, and to this very day, I had never gotten tired of watching everyone's favorite modern Stone Age family. The Flintstones has always been that type of TV show that never lost its charm, no matter what kind of changes came over the characters, even when a certain annoying alien came into the show later on. And because of that, the Flintstones still remains to be one of the few TV series that I continue to watch over and over again. What I loved so much about this show was the fact that it took the concept about having characters living in the Stone Age, but living in a lifestyle that is more a modernized version of the Stone Age, such as using various prehistoric dinosaurs as kitchen appliances and furniture. I also love the smart remarks that the prehistoric appliances make whenever the characters are using them to get some chores done, since it gave the show a very creative and humorous flair whenever these situations pop up. But probably the best part about these characters living in a modernized version of the Stone Age was the fact that the characters act like your average everyday family. I love the fact that all the characters don't act like your stereotypical barbarians, unless you count Fred's occasional temper tantrums and such, as they act in a more charming manner that really made me care for these characters. I especially love the fact that these characters deal with problems in a way that is very similar to how anyone in the modern world would handle their problems, such as trying to keep your job or going out bowling with your friends. But probably the best part of this series was the characters themselves, as they were very memorable. Probably my most favorite character in the entire series is none other than Fred Flintstone himself, and he is one of the most interesting characters to ever grace upon this show. I love the fact that even though Fred Flintstone has a temper and he can be difficult to deal with, he still cares deeply for his family and friends, especially when Pebbles was introduced in the show. It was hilarious seeing Fred always try to figure out a way to get rich real quick, only for his plans to go downhill, and it was also great seeing how Fred would figure out how to get out of these predicaments that he would often get himself into. Barney Rubble was another character that I really enjoyed, and he was often the voice of reason to Fred's insane plans, though he would easily go along with Fred's plans if necessary. I really loved Fred and Barney's relationship with each other, as it was hilarious in seeing them fight each other, and yet they still care about each other whenever one of them is in great danger. Wilma Flintstone was a fantastic character, as she is often the one who could talk down Fred whenever he loses his temper. Even though this TV series takes place in the 1960s, I love the fact that Wilma is portrayed as a strong female protagonist, and the fact that she is the voice of reason when it comes to Fred's scheming really brings an interesting dynamic to Fred and Wilma's relationship with each other. I also love the fact that Fred and Wilma truly love each other despite them bickering with each other all the time, as they show a very realistic yet fun-loving relationship that is often shown between a couple, and it was interesting seeing them banter with each other. Now, with Betty Rubble, even though I loved her relationship with Wilma and the fact that she is just as level-headed as Wilma, I felt that her character was a little one-sided at times compared to the other characters since she is mostly shown agree with Wilma on many subjects, and I would have loved to see more episodes dedicated to Betty. Now, let's talk about Pebbles and Bam Bam, some of the newer additions to the Flintstones cast. I really loved the introduction of both Pebbles and Bam Bam because their arrival had shown the growth in both Fred and Barney, as we see them struggle being good parents, but shown that they still care about their children. I especially love the character development that Fred went through when he had Pebbles, because at first it seemed like he hated children, but the moment he becomes a father to Pebbles, Fred has indeed become a good father to Pebbles and has slowly become less grouchy as the show went on. I also love the fact that Barney and Betty adopted Bam Bam as their own child, as it showed a positive portrayal of parents adopting children and an added industry dynamic to the show, especially the fact that Bam Bam possesses super strength, which was always hilarious to see whenever he lifts up anyone without a strain. I generally loved all the characters in the series and their relationships with each other, as it was hilarious seeing them argue with each other, and yet there are many situations where characters like Fred or Barney get into trouble, but they manage to bail each other out of that situation no matter what. If there was a problem I had with the show, it would be with the character of the Great Gazoo himself, as he is probably one of the most hated characters on the show. For me personally, I didn't find the episodes that starred the Great Gazoo to be too terrible, at least compared to other TV shows that go through seasonal rot. Also, I didn't hate the Great Gazoo enough to want him to die a thousand deaths for taking the show in a different direction, but I always felt it was a bit odd to have an alien who came from the future to suddenly appear in a TV series where everything is set in prehistoric times. I felt that it took away from the creativity that the Flintstones was able to establish during the 1960s, as in being one of the few shows at the time to have the setting be modern and yet be set in the prehistoric age. After The Great Gazoo came around, there were many fantasy elements added to the show, and it felt like it was trying to copy the trend of having supernatural sitcoms like Bewitched and The Munsters at the time, while also introducing even more celebrity actors and actresses to star in each episode. The Flintstones ran for 6 seasons with a total of 166 episodes, including one pilot, which was called The Flagstones. The title was changed to The Flintstones due to Hanna-Barbera trying to avoid confusion with a group of characters called the Flagstons, who originated from a comic strip called Hi and Lois. Overall, I give The Flintstones a high thumbs up. This is easily one of Hanna-Barbera's most memorable and influential TV shows ever created, and it helps that the show inspires so many animated sitcoms in the future, such as The Simpsons and Family Guy. This is definitely one TV series that I continue to watch over and over again, even through my adult years. Well, that's my TV show review on The Flintstones, and be sure to watch more of my videos in the near future. I'm Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.